Hey guys, so I was looking around the past couple of days and I noticed there wasn't much information on creeping anywhere. There's no extensive guides for beginners or anything like that explaining how creeps work. So I wanted to make this guide because I realized it was pretty overlooked and pretty important in game if you're just starting off. I would suggest if you're brand new, like you don't even know build orders, you haven't even picked your main race yet, to just go play the game a little bit. There's plenty of guides out there to show you the basic builds when you're first starting off. And then once you have some of that stuff down, maybe come back to this guide a little bit later. I'm going to do this in 3 parts. Part 1 is all going to be about AI and the abilities of creeps in Warcraft, how Ensnare works, how Lightning Shield works, all that good stuff. After we've learned the basics of AI, we'll move on to the basic creeping tactics for all 4 races. Each race in Warcraft creeps very differently and has distinct advantages and disadvantages when it comes to creeping. Thirdly, I'm going to go over some of the more challenging creeping tricks, some tricks that are just for fun, and others that will take a bit of practice, but will give you a huge advantage in-game. I'll be focusing mainly on 1v1 maps and 1v1 tactics, because there's simply just too much to cover if I was to delve into 4v4 maps and things of that nature. I'll try to reference pro players and use their ideas for creeping as much as possible, because we want to know we're learning from the right place and we're covering everything as correctly as possible. Before we start, I'd just like to go over some basic terminology that I'll be using. You guys most likely already understand this stuff, but I just want to be sure that we don't leave anyone behind. In the first part, we're going to be talking a lot about how creeps react to actions we give our own units. Some of the ways we can make our own units move are as followed. A move command is the action given to any group of units to just move. If given this command, your units will try to get to that point at all costs without ever stopping or attacking anything along the way. A attack move command is an action given that will tell your units to move to that given location, but attack every aggressive enemy unit they encounter along the way until they reach that point. A hold position command will tell your units to stay in that spot until given any sort of move command. If this action is told repeatedly to your unit, it will stand completely still, not attacking or casting any auto-cast abilities. Creeps in Warcraft 3 are neutral units spread across each map. Each creep gives a certain amount of experience to your heroes, as well as gold, item drops, tome drops, and sometimes what are known as ward drops. Each item and tome dropped from these creeps is taken from a small table of usually 4 in most cases. The harder the creep camps, the better the selected items or tomes become. Knowing which camps drop what is just a matter of playing and learning the maps over time, so just go play the game. Each creep camp in Warcraft also has a set tier organized into 3 groups. Green camps are the easiest camps, orange camps are the medium level camps, and red camps are the hardest of all. Within these camps there's anywhere from 2 to sometimes 10 or more individual creeps, all with set abilities. The goal of learning to creep properly is to maximize the speed, efficiency, and safety of creeping. You want to creep faster than your opponent, while also taking as little damage as possible, while taking as valuable camps as possible. Learning to do this properly can give you a huge advantage in game without ever interacting with your opponent. There are lots of creeps in Warcraft, too many to cover. In the standard 1v1 maps we only see a handful, and some have similar abilities as well as AI. There's what seems like an infinite amount to learn about how creeps act and react in Warcraft. I've shaved it down to 8 AI mechanics well worth knowing. Number 1. Ensnare. Ensnare is an ability casted by Troll Trappers and Murloc Huntsmen in the standard 1v1 maps. The ability holds any non-hero unit in place for 15 seconds, rendering them able to attack, but unable to move. Getting your units ensnared means in some cases they're not attacking, which results in slower creeping. To avoid getting any unit ensnared, you have to run all your units into range of the creep camp at the same time. Running a unit in after you've already engaged the camp will result in that unit being ensnared. When a unit has already been attacking the creep camp, the unit may run away from the attack range of that camp, but running back into it will also result in an ensnare cast on it. This is mostly applicable to melee units, of course, because if your ranged units get ensnared, they can still attack, not slowing down your creeping, but it's best to avoid getting ensnared at all, as much as you can. Number 2. Lightning Shield. Lightning Shield is an ability casted by Renegade Wizards. Lightning Shield costs 100 mana, and when cast it creates a shield around a unit that deals 20 damage per second to any friendly or non-friendly unit touching it. The Renegade Wizard will only cast Lightning Shield if there's 2 non-friendly units touching any other unit. So whether it be one of your units or another creep, if there's 2 or more units touching it, the Lightning Shield will be triggered. It's also worth noting that the Renegade Wizard will not cast Lightning Shield if it will damage any of its friendly creeps. So if there's two of your units touching one of the Renegade Wizards, it will not cast Lightning Shield on one of your units, it will cast it on its own unit to avoid taking damage on itself. This is extremely useful to help speed up your creeping, and is used by almost every professional player when possible, especially Night Elves. One thing to be careful of is when the Lightning Shield is cast, the damage it puts out counts as damage from the Renegade Wizard itself. So if the Lightning Shield gets the last hit on a creep, your hero will receive no experience. So try pulling back the unit with Lightning Shield just before the creep dies, and then finishing it off some other way. Number 3, Purge. Purge is an ability cast by Null Wardens as well as Renegade Wizards. Purge costs 75 mana to cast. When cast, it deals 400 damage to any summoned units, removes all buffs, and slows the unit. Purge is especially annoying when you're trying to tank the damage from a camp with a summoned unit, such as Water Elementals or Quill Beasts, and it gets purged and killed right away. This happens because the summoned unit attacking a camp is the first priority for the creeps to purge. To avoid this, simply summon the unit and spam hold position in range of the creeps. This will cause the creeps to still attack the summoned unit, but they won't see it as a threat, as it's not attacking them, and they will purge another non-summoned unit. Once all the creeps have used their purge, you can start attacking with the summon. Another way to do this is just simply wait until the creeps have purged, and then summon the unit afterwards. Any summon with 200 hit points or less, such as level 1 Spirit Wolves or Rod of Necromancy Skeletons, will not be targeted by Purge from any creeps. It's also worth noting that whenever a unit is purged by creeps, whether it be summoned or not, all the creeps from that camp will automatically target the purged unit. So keep an eye out for which unit is purged and be sure to pull it back. Number 4, Poison. Poison is a damage over time effect that happens when attacked by the creep. It generally deals anywhere from 2 to 4 damage and lasts 10 to 20 seconds. Poison in Warcraft is pretty simple. Any creep that has a poison attack will try to poison all of the units within range of that camp equally. So if you have a low HP unit, or a unit in the process of being healed by something like a heal salve, it's best to keep that unit completely away from the poison creep camp. Number 5, creeps level 7 or higher. Each creep in Warcraft has a given level, similar to heroes, scaling from level 1 to 10. Any creep level 7 or higher works a bit differently from the lower level creeps. Level 7 or higher creeps will always target the lowest hit point unit that's attacking the camp. That's current hit points, not maximum hit points. So if your Death Knight has 100 HP, and your ghoul has 200 HP, the creeps will attack the Death Knight and vice versa. But this behavior only applies to creeps level 7 or higher. Number 6, Hurl Boulder, or Bolt for short, is an ability used by rock golems as well as granite golems. It costs 75 mana, and when used it deals 100 damage to a unit and stuns it for 2 seconds. The way the rock golem chooses which target to bolt is similar to how Purge works. If a unit isn't attacking the creep camp, it won't be bolted. So say you're creeping a camp with a rock golem and you don't want your low HP unit to get bolted, simply don't attack with that unit right away until the bolt has been cast, and then focus down the rock golem right away. Some creeps in Warcraft, but most notably the Rock Golem, if pulled out of their creep camp's attack range and then attacked before returning to their starting position, won't cast some abilities. This is extremely useful in the case of the Rock Golem on some maps. It can cut the damage you take almost in half. Some maps are harder to pull than others, because the other creeps in the camps cast things like Slow or Ensnare, making it harder to pull the Rock Golem away, but it works very well in the Mercenary camp on Twisted Meadows, and I'm sure a couple of other places. Number 7, Flying Units. I can't count the amount of games where I've been doing something on one side of the map and I look over and suddenly my Chimera or my Frostworm has been ensnared and is being killed by creeps. This is a common mistake that happens when you have your flying units in a control group with the rest of your army, but in a different part of the map, and they fly over a creep camp after being issued a attack command. This will cause the flying unit to try to take on the camp all by themselves. To avoid this, simply give your air units move commands instead of aggressive commands like patrol or attack move when flying near creep camps. This can be very useful when you want to use a heal fountain in the daytime. If you continuously give a flying unit a move command at a heal fountain, he can heal for free without ever disturbing the creeps, and without ever having to creep the fountain out to heal at it. This only works for flying units, however, so if you have ground units, you need to keep them out of range of the creep camp entirely. Number 8. De-aggroing creeps off units. This is a big one. This is probably the most important and useful AI mechanic to learn in Warcraft 3. Say an entire camp is attacking one of your units, and is taking a lot of damage. To make the creep stop attacking that unit and start attacking another one of your choosing without ever having to move the unit out of combat, you simply just have to issue an attack command to one of your own friendly units. When told to attack one of your own units, the creep will view the attacking unit as a non-threat, and start attacking the same unit you've just targeted. However, you don't actually have to deal damage to your own unit or keep attacking it. You just need to issue a command, and then you can immediately start attacking the creeps again. This of course doesn't apply to level 7 or higher creeps because they will always still attack the lowest HP unit around them. Alright, this about concludes the most important AI tricks in Warcraft 3. If I got anything wrong or you think there's something else worth noting, please comment or DM me. I'll throw it in a future video if I can. The next part will focus on how each individual race creeps in Warcraft 3. If you're feeling motivated, please give my Twitch channel a follow, maybe give the video a like. Twitch link in the description below. Thanks, I'll see you in part 2.